Alright everybody, welcome all back to Dead Space. Jumping into Chapter 8 here. It's been a while since I've recorded, and if my voice sounds weird, which it probably does, I can literally hear my own voice sounding fucking weird. It's because I got COVID, so that was a lot of fun. Laid me out for like 2 days, and now I feel good, but I still just feel like somebody sprayed weed killer up my nose. But anyway, jumping back into Chapter 8 here. Before we actually get started on anything related to the chapter, we are doing a little bit of backtracking through engineering, because there's an item that we are now able to get, now that we have security clearance level 3. And this is a pretty good time to do it, so I figured I would just backtrack through engineering, and this sort of begins the section of the kind of the late game where we run a lot of errands for side quests and do a lot of backtracking. And we also have a lot of aggressor AI to deal with, as you just saw. But coming through this loud-ass room into this familiar-looking hallway from everybody's favorite level in Halo 3, Cortana. Everybody loves that level. Oh boy. But yeah, we can open this door. And coming in here, we can pick up an audio log and Russo's rig. And upon picking up Russo's rig, this son of a bitch enhanced necromorph will always spawn. So I recommend the force gun.
Engineering log. Chief Engineer Ariel Russo reporting. Research maintenance is... What was I saying? I haven't slept right since they brought that marker on board. I'm a little, the only thing I remember clearly is that engine inspection. Henderson said something, and when I looked back, it was a machine again. But I can still hear that pumping.
Exiting zero gravity.
That help me sleep. Oh, if I can get close enough. Yeah. Go right inside, maybe, where it's warm and dark. Ooh, yeah. Makes sense.
So now that we're done with that little self-appointed side quest, we can head on back to the bridge and sort of get started on this chapter. There's a little bit of a twist there to what I just said. So we've got a total of 3 side missions. I think that's all the side quests that are in the game.
Error. Power routing malfunction. Please stand by.
This jump scare again from the first game. I want to say this happens twice. I think it happens twice in the remake, but only once in the original. Where the train is like, uh-oh, power malfunction. Oh god, what could possibly happen? Also, I like to do that, like, rapid aim animation where you make Isaac's head bop with the pulse rifle. And just There are gameplay benefits to it, trust me.
We did it! Isaac! A ship just shocked in. The USM Valor. They must have heard our SOS.
That fast? What's a military ship doing way out here?
Out on patrol? Whatever, right now I take a rescue from a fucking magpie. Head for communications. Once we fix the comms array, we can get all the answers we need.
So we only need to find one more of the super special crew rigs, and then we can build ourselves that master override key. That'll be completable in the next chapter. So, quarantine events. So we get to actually experience the full potential of the force gun on this part. Because what you can do as you can see, is you can use the gravity well to group enemies together and then blow them up, especially if they're sploders. The gravity well / pulse rifle grenade combo is particularly good, but because there are sploders on the battlefield, we don't need to waste ammo. Even though I opted to use a grenade there anyway, probably just because I don't fuck around. Yeah, if you can sort of kite the enemies into certain spots on this part, it's actually pretty easy to group them together with the gravity well. I don't know how that sploder didn't get sucked into the well, but whatever, you know? There's also a lot of enemies on this part, so don't do what I'm doing right here and just hyper-focus on a single enemy. Pretty sure this almost gets me into a lot of trouble because I turn around and hey, look who it is! Tell me how I lucked my way out of this scenario. Jesus Christ. I call cheating on my own gameplay. That was just some seriously, like, when you get that close to a sploder, it is usually a death sentence. But alas, the gods of Dead Space were merciful.
Clearance confirmed.
Another one. I'm getting weird feedback spikes on local comms.
If whatever's wrong with the comms array is spreading,
No, that's not it. So, the door to communications should be open. You can head down to the comms control station. And Isaac, watch what you say. I think someone's listening in.
So hit up this terminal here to get the next part of the premeditated malpractice side quest.
Fine. Then we'll waste more time and record this. Satisfied?
No, I'm not satisfied. We have a dead miner. We can't sedate Brand Harris.
Wasn't Harris originally your patient? Could have warned us that he'd go berserk.
Captain, Harris is suffering from a dementia that we don't fully understand. He was making progress until Dr. Mercer took his case over my objections.
I've read that.
He was making progress until people decided to steal his power nodes. That's fucked up.
Just sounds like more of your bigotry.
I'd go insane too.
What?
Do you deny that you've counseled members of our church and turned them against unitology?
I'm telling you that Mercer's treatments are immoral and dangerous. And why does he keep taking Harris to hydroponics? Medical is a sanctuary, not Mercer's private lab, so stop covering for him.
More accusations and still no proof. You know your way out.
He won't stop with Brand Harris, Captain. You know that.
Tracking related rig activity.
Alright, so with that, we are actually just going to go straight on to hydroponics and complete this quest right away. Because, in doing that, we obtain the prototype stasis module, which I've already mentioned briefly. I know that I've mentioned it in passing, but now we're actually going to go get the fucking thing. And the prototype stasis module is not only stupidly good, but it's going to be kind of necessary going into Chapter 9. So, we're going to go do that. Roll on back to hydroponics. It's not a terribly long trip to take the tram and then go and get this thing and then go back. Somebody should make a mod for this game that makes the train play like really stupid tone-deaf music.
At hydroponics.
Like, do you guys remember the elevator music from Max Payne 1? It was all like, do. Like, you would just get done gunning people down and just getting in this epic gunfight, killing like 20 people, and then you get in the elevator and it's all like, dun dun dun! And then it would just play this like Disneyland-ass music. But hey, there's also this bathroom here that we never looted. I think after this we end up taking one more trip back to hydroponics, and that is, I believe, in Chapter 10 when we actually build the Master Override. Did I say, I think earlier I accidentally lied to you when I said that we get the Master Override in the next chapter. It's actually Chapter 10 that we get it.
Reporting
because that's when you can actually obtain the final rig. But hey, Aggressor AI, what's new with you lately? Spawning 2, not 1, but 2 necromorphs to fuck me in my butthole as I go on this fetch quest of mine to get the prototype stasis module. Also, now that we have security clearance level 3, we can open this door up. Avoid getting spewed on by the shit gas. I still just don't even understand what that liquid even is. How this makes sense for a working environment. Whoever works in this room better be making some serious, like, offshore oil rig money, because that is some hazardous shit. Now, I'm going the right way now, but I'm pretty sure I ended up getting slightly lost, and, like, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque, so I had to bust out my waypoint to do the job for me. Which, you know what? I think that's fine. I feel like I don't use the waypoint a lot. I know my way around the game pretty well at this point, so I can just kind of raw dog it without the waypoint, but, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, this is where I went the wrong way, but it was an easy fix. Pretty sure it was just one door that I missed in the previous room. Yep, we were supposed to go through nutrition systems. Also, every single time you come in here, you'll get attacked by a prego. I've tested this pretty vigorously when I was doing my routing, when I was taking notes and doing it on my own time. And, this prego is definitely not aggressor RNG. He is always there. So I would just recommend using stasis and then carefully dismembering his arms. Unless you have the flamethrower handy. And you can just hit him with a bomb. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but if you kill a pregnant by just dismembering their arms, they won't give birth.
They keep poisons here that would never be allowed near medical, and now you're invulnerable to all of them. Cellular regeneration. Will I kill you? If you try, Mr. Harris, I have options. The containment module, for example. Remember your last brain surgery? Stasis with consciousness? Quite useful. If only I hadn't wasted so much osmium on my last module design. And how do you feel now? Dead. Awake. Holy. Then perhaps it's time for your first real hunt.
So, I wasn't actually sure what caused that necromorph to spawn. I always thought that it was picking up the actual stasis module, but I think it's actually the end of the audio log that causes him to spawn. Or rather, triggers it. Not causes it, but... yep. There's the prototype stasis module. I just kind of wanted to show it off on this enemy. Even though this was kind of vain and stupid. I didn't really need to do that. But, yeah, as you can see, the prototype stasis module not only just does a better job than the regular stasis module, but it does electric damage. So, the stasis module is much more applicable as an offensive tool now. Also, don't forget that power node on your way out. But yeah, the prototype stasis module does damage to enemies now. The trade-off is that you can actually damage yourself with it if you're not careful, because it does AoE damage. And I did not realize this guy was in full sprint, but prototype stasis saves the day. But because prototype stasis has electric damage, Damn, I just kind of killed that necromorph by, like, throwing meat at him. Like, I didn't even impale him. I just kind of threw, like, a limp arm at him. But, yeah, the prototype stasis module requires a little bit less HP from your actual guns to kill enemies. Like, you don't have to shoot them as much, and you don't have to dismember as many of their limbs, because the electricity damages them at the same time. So it's almost like a Bioshock sort of effect. You know, like the 1-2 punch in Bioshock? How you could, like, electrocute somebody with your electro bolt, and then you would do more damage with subsequent attacks. It's kind of like that. Also, I gotta say, if you're fighting one necromorph at a time, the prototype stasis / weighted blades combo with the plasma cutter is an absolute chef's kiss. The weighted blades upgrade is actually really, really good. At least if you're only fighting one necromorph. If you're fighting, like, multiple, it's always best to just shoot them. Or take advantage of the environment, throw barrels at them and stuff. Power node time. And I think I ran back to this bench. I braved the shit spew room once again so that I could upgrade something. I don't know what I upgraded. Probably the pulse rifle? Maybe? Probably between the force gun and the pulse rifle at this point. Yeah, looks like I went pulse rifle. When you actually get every single pulse rifle upgrade and you max out the damage completely, the pulse rifle is actually pretty darn good. Like, even the primary fire on it, like the shitty actual assault rifle mode that I never use, even that's not too bad. I also don't know how I missed those line racks after going in that room like 4+ times, but I got him that time. Alright, so now that we're done with that side quest, that was actually a really cool side quest, I thought, too, where you get to learn the origin of the Hunter, how Brant Harris got indoctrinated by Mercer and ended up getting, like, surgically fucking mutated into the Hunter. I just thought it was a very neat little subplot. And the reward for completing it is damn good. So, that's how you do a side quest, damn it. That's how it's done. Give me a cool story to follow, and then give me a cool reward at the end of the tunnel. But now we can go back to the bridge and actually, finally, commence Chapter 8. Because so far, the only thing we've done in this video that's actually pertained to Chapter 8 is that quarantine fight in the atrium. That was it. But that's because we've got errands to run, baby. Isaac's a man with shit to do. He's got shit on his plate. Not actual shit on his plate. Isaac doesn't eat shit. Don't disrespect my boy like that. But, you know what I'm saying. Also, I definitely saved here just on the off chance that I would have to, like, redo all of that shit. Like, off recording. I didn't want to have to do that. Alright. Down, down, down to Goblin Town we go. With the prototype stasis module in hand. Now all we gotta do is complete the, those other two quests, which, off the top of my head, the only one I can even remember is the You Are Not Authorized, which has us getting the master security shit. Alright, so really, really easy way to take care of these two wall guardians here. Run into this room, and then get your pulse rifle grenades handy. And the reason you want to come into this room is obviously because they can't hit you with their stupid little potato things that they drop on the ground. And also because there's a stasis recharge station, we can abuse our stasis, which makes it a little bit easier to take them out. This is the room from earlier that we had to open by shooting the fuse box from the that weird angle from the opposite window. So if you didn't do that, I guess that sucks, because I guess you can't really utilize that tactic. We have a few more Wall Guardian encounters throughout the game, and they're actually, like, jokingly easy, which I'm super happy about. Wall Guardians are probably my least favorite enemy besides the Spitters. I really can't stand Spitters. On hard, they just do so much fucking damage, dude. One hit from a Spitter on hard just melts your fucking health bar. It's insane.
Communications array offline. A repair technician has
Communications log.
been
First
notified.
comms operator Bailey reporting. I want this on record. The ship is under attack, but Captain Matthias has refused to issue a distress.
After picking up that rig,
all know why.
we only need one more,
Operation is illegal.
and we'll be able to get it in Chapter 10.
They knew it, we knew it, and we all kept our mouths shut. That's ending now. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is USG Ishimura calling C. Wait. Jesus. He took the whole comms array offline. It's over.
The Valor's in a holding position. How's the comms array?
Fried. Someone hotwired the dishes together and blew up the system.
So we're screwed.
No, it was sloppy work. Some of the dishes are intact. If I replace them and create a new circuit with no gaps, we could broadcast a signal. Short range only, but it should work.
Okay, do it. I'll, keep an eye on things here.
Unsent message retrieved from array buffer.
Progress report, Captain Benjamin Matthias to Paragon Jordan, Una. This will be my last transmission. Afterwards, I'll make sure our pilgrimage can be completed without interference. We have successfully brought the Holy Marker on board. Dr. Kine, an expert on the original marker, is deciphering its secrets. Forgive me for quarantining Aegis 7. Director Eckhart's work may have been inconvenienced, but they're suffering some sort of epidemic. Regardless, Planet Crack begins tomorrow on schedule. CEC can scratch out its illegal operation now that the true prize is ours. Let's see Earthgov try to cover this up. Altman be praised. Matthias out.
I think Planet Crack is a really cool word. I enjoy that. It's fun to say. Planet Crack. Planet Crack. Let's crack this planet. Alright, so coming in here, this room features, I want to say 4 lurkers and 2 leapers. It might actually be 3 lurkers, but I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the Force Gun is super duper god player against leapers. At least the regular leapers. Not so much the enhanced leapers, but when you upgrade the damage on the Force Gun, it's capable of killing a regular leaper in 1 shot. And you don't even have to be that close either. But yeah. As far as the enhanced leapers go, there really isn't like a great strategy for them. Contact beam, maybe. But yeah, the enhanced lurkers, I mean, not leapers. The enhanced lurkers, you know, the babies. They're kind of a pain in the ass. But now we've got the comms array puzzle, which is actually quite a bit different than it was in the original game. It's been a while since I've played Dead Space OG, so I actually don't really quite remember how the puzzle played out in that game, but basically how I like to start things off here is I grab all of the actual pieces that we're going to use, aka the ones that are lit up and they have L shapes on them. Like that one, you got the upside down right facing L. But yeah, pretty much just grab all of the pieces that you're going to use, and then discard the shitty red broken ones. And what I like to do is I usually try to or, good God, what the fuck did I just say? I try to like a bing bong. But I try to set them up kind of in the center here, where I can see them, and I know which ones I'm going to use. But what you have to do is pretty much just have to match up the L shapes on the front panels here. So see, that one's like upside down, left facing L, that's a normal shaped L. What you have to do is you just have to build the circuit with these. And because we're working with L shapes here, you pretty much have to zigzag it. So put the left facing upside down L right there. And now we need a normal shaped L. There you go. And once you figure out how to do this puzzle, you can actually do it like really fast. It's not hard. It might be hard if you don't know shapes, but yeah, once you actually know how this thing is supposed to work, it's actually very, very simple. That's our last piece right there, and the comms array is humming back to life.
I think you got it. Try opening a channel to the Valor.
Why don't you fucking do it, Kendra? Why do I gotta do everything, huh? Huh?
Exiting zero gravity.
Alright, let's hit that old rescue button.
This is USM Valor, broadcasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We've picked up your escape pod number 47 and are en route to your position.
We're being rescued by fucking Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe from the 90s. This is USM Valor responding to your SOS beacon.
It had chip. That creature was inside.
No. USM Valor, come in. Come in, Valor.
Uh-oh.
Oh, her signal isn't strong enough.
Can we deploy the long-range antenna?
No, something's blocking the blast doors over the comms array. The hell?
There'll be a manual release over at maintenance. I'll go. Keep trying to reach them.
Alright, well, our rescue is being jeopardized. Thanks a lot, Hammond, for jettisoning that escape pod earlier. Also, an enemy spawns in that hallway, but if you just kind of keep walking and mind your own business, you can just outrun him. He doesn't follow you in here. And even if he did, all you have to do is get on this elevator anyway. Also, there's like an item along this elevator shaft, but I saw it too late. You hate to see that, man. That was probably the fucking secret Dead Space Remake cheat codes for God Mode and maximum bitches, money, and secrets to success in life. Oh well. Little text log there if you'd like to read it. At least I found that gold semiconductor in that air duct. Alright, well, here's our first encounter with probably the scariest enemy in the whole game, the Dividers. I say that mostly because he looks like Slender Man. They're not actually that bad, but my strategy for dealing with Dividers is a little unconventional in that I kind of don't deal with them. There's this unique trait that Dividers have where they cannot follow you between rooms. Unlike traditional necromorph species, Dividers can't use the air ducts. They can't use air vents to pursue you. And another thing about Dividers is that they're really just not worth fighting because trying to kill a Divider just results in basically their bodies falling apart, and then you have a shitload of tiny enemies to fight. And those tiny enemies are actually a bitch to kill, so my solution for Dividers is to just seal them into rooms. Like that. I literally just use stasis, and I just create a nice little tomb. I entomb them. I literally just put him in jail and forget about him. Burp. So there is an enhanced necromorph in this elevator. But not anymore. Alright. Boys and girls, we have got another boss coming up. It's basically the Leviathan Part 2, except it's actually a very, very different fight. Like, the mechanics of this fight are very, very, very different than the first Leviathan fight.
Doors obstructed. Please contact a repair technician.
Still can't reach the Valor. What's happening with the antenna?
It's blocked by... It's the Leviathan. It must have snagged on the comms array after we spaced it. It's not coming off without a fight.
Isaac, there's no time.
There is if I use the ADS cannons. Manual targeting like before. I can shoot it right off the hull. I got this. You focus on the Valor.
Will do.
Alright. So, out into space we go. So in the original Dead Space, this was another turret section. But in the remake, you actually get to go out into space and kind of fight the Leviathan one-on-one, which is kind of cool. I actually prefer this version of the fight as opposed to the Dead Space 1 original. Whereas, like, the first Leviathan fight, I mean, they didn't really change anything for the remake, because they didn't really have to. They changed this fight completely. So, all you have to do is, to dodge this thing's attacks, it's actually really easy, and you don't have to be floating. You don't actually have to be, flying around to dodge these attacks. You can do it on foot really easily. But all you gotta do is, sync up with the ADS cannons, and then kind of blow his weird little, whatever the fuck, membrane thing off, so that you can expose the sacks, and then use the ADS cannons to shoot it. There's actually a couple of different strategies to make this, like, super easy. Easier, I should say, but I just kind of opted for, like, the caveman route of beating this boss, which is just sort of going left to right, or right to left on the ADS cannons. It's also really important to keep an eye on your oxygen and make sure that you refill that shit. So once you get to phase 2 of the boss, phase 2 of 3, he'll start targeting you with those disgusting, like, booger bombs, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Booger bombs. And while he does that, he'll still attack you with his tentacles and all that shit too. When he does that sweep attack where he brings, like, one of his tentacles from one side to the other and he just creates, like, this giant, like, chaos hellscape, for that attack you absolutely do have to fly to avoid it. But it's really easy attack to avoid. You just have to fly straight up, pretty much. So, final ADS cannon. So for phase 3, as you can see, not only is he a bit more aggressive with his tentacles and his booger bombs, but he has deployed landmines. Or I guess these are more like depth charges, so now we have to avoid these. And he also destroys the ADS cannon, so In order to finish him off, I like to just use the alt fire on the contact beam. Usually takes like 5 shots rather. I can't believe that actually hit me. But he's dead.
Is it dead?
Dead and gone. I'll try the antenna's manual release again.
Do it. I've got a transmission loaded and ready to go.
Alright, so with the Leviathan dead, strangely enough, we still have some encounters with Leviathan tentacles, which I don't even know how that's possible since the Leviathan's no longer on the ship, but hey, who am I to ask questions?
USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura. Do not open the escape pod. Repeat, do not open that escape pod. Do you read?
Well, looks like they may have opened it.
We're too late.
The Valor!
It's heading right for you!
Brace yourself!
Daniels, what happened? Something shook the whole crew deck. What hit us? An asteroid?
Those things got onto the Valor. A rescue ship. They found your escape pod. And the one that used to be Chen is...
God damn it!
The Valor's scrap. By the time another ship hears the SOS beacon, we'll all be dead.
No, that's what I was telling you. I found an executive shuttle on the crew deck. Intact.
But the log says that shuttle's missing its singularity core. It can't get us home.
Wait, maybe it can. If the Valor's singularity core is okay, I could salvage it, install it on that shuttle. We're fucking out of here.
Where's the Valor now?
It's near comms.
Keep us stable. Isaac, I'll grab a suit and EVA onto the Valor. Meet me there. We'll find that core together. Let CEC clean up their own mess. I'm saving what I can.
Alright, so, going into the next chapter, there are a few things that are really good to know before you go in. There are no shops. There are absolutely no stores in the next chapter, because the next chapter, obviously, we're going to a completely different ship. Also, I had to re-interact with this guy because I was like, oh yeah, I have to go to the store, because obviously if you need to make any last-minute trips to the store, now's the time to do it. Because the next chapter is really short, but again, it's good to get your inventory and all your shit straight before having to go somewhere where you literally don't have an option to get your shit straight. There we go. Pretty much just clearing up some inventory space. And buying, I think, oh yeah, buying some stasis packs too, because stasis is going to be very, very, very important in this next chapter. Alright. Yeah, remember, this guy actually, like, hit me too, because I didn't stasis him in time. I don't know what I was trying to do. It's like and then the door... the door hit me on the way out. Jesus. What a farce. What an actual farce. Alright, do I even have any power nodes? I have one. Good for me. Just continue almost getting the plasma cutter to max. And with that, I believe we are ready to fly our happy asses over to the USM Valor. Yep, the next chapter is actually pretty cool because you get to explore a whole nother ship. And it's like a military ship. Also, if you don't have the prototype stasis module, this chapter, it can be a bitch. Because the regular stasis module don't do a fucking thing against these new enemy types that we're going to encounter. Alright. let's go meet up with Hammond on the Valor. And by meet up with Hammond, I mean Hammond is probably going to hide and barricade himself in a safe room and have his good friend Isaac do all the work.
Isaac, I'm on board. The Valor's trashed, but I can make it to the bridge. The hell was that?
I swear every call with Hammond always ends with him going, what was that? What was that noise? Anyway, yeah, Chapter 8, Search and Rescue, completed. And so begins Chapter 9, Dead on Arrival, which is exactly what happened to these poor fucks. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. That was a good, hefty 40 minutes of Dead Space, so, like, was that shorter or longer than the last chapter? I don't know. But yeah, the next chapter where we explore the Valor is actually pretty short. And then we'll just kind of take it from the top. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying everything up to this point, and I will see you next time for Chapter 9.